An album a day is my exploration into the Korean music scene. This podcast will cover mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provide both factual and opinionated commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own.
You're tuned into an album a day. Show, start.
Well. We are back after Thanksgiving 2019. And this is a late in the day episode. Usually the episodes come out at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. But as you hear, there's a new disclaimer recording. I'm not happy with it. I mean, I know it sounds good or, at least comparatively better to what I had. But I know from an audio standpoint that it's still not correct. There's some random popping that's going on in it. So it's got me slightly agitated right now, just a little bit agitated, but we're going to get into it. At least audio quality is improving now because I have, the appropriate microphone and everything. So that's good. I'm going to find a way to just be pleasant about it. 24K. That's who we're talking about today. Wow, I said TK. Really? 2K. So 4K, 24K, also known as 4K in some instances. They are still active. They've been around since 2012. They're on gotta look at the notes. I just don't be out here willy-nilly sometimes. They're on Chon Entertainment and they debuted in 2012. And the group currently consists of 4 active members, but there's been an overabundance of members over the years. So just giving you a little bit of history. And of course, we are referencing good old Wikipedia, where I know some of you have made a mention in some DMs like, hey, where are you getting the information from and whatnot? When you were in school and people used to tell you not to use Wikipedia, at one point in time, yes, it could have been a little bit questionable about the content, but all of those little notations when you're on a Wikipedia page and you see a number in parentheses, that gives you the source material. So if you're ever wondering where I'm getting this information from and, if it's verifiable and things of that sort, that's what the reference area at the bottom of the page is for. Quite honestly, being the fact that I am an educator, I'm convinced that they didn't want us using this because it made finding sources easy. So everything that's listed in the reference area of a Wikipedia page, when you decide to scroll down all the way to the bottom, and a lot of us do it and we just totally disregard that thinking it's jumbled up info, those are going to be links that take you externally to where you need to go. And in the case of 24K or 24K, they have 29 parenthetical references, most of which are from Korean sources. My Daily, Newson, quite a few others, but a lot of it seems to be in New Daily, Naver as well. So that's where this information comes from. So when I'm sharing things with you all, it's not just, a reach. Some of it I do know just as a dork, but a lot of it needs to be appropriately sourced for historical purposes. So with that being said, let's get into a little bit of their history. And what we're going to look at this go around is the very first project, which was 4K. It was before they became 24K. We're going to look at Rocking Girl, which was a lovely little EP with 3 tracks on it. But we're going to talk about that first. First after the history. So prior to the debut of the group, quote, the acoustic pop subunit 4K debuted, consisting of vocalist Corey, Sukjun, Kisu, and Sungol. They released Rocking Girl in June 2012. With the addition of Dae-il and Byung-ho, 24K released their first mini album, Hurry Up, or Paliwa, and the title song on September 6th. On January 6th of the following year, 24K began an additional promotion cycle for the record by performing Secret Love. And then they released their second mini album, You Are So Cute, on August 1st, 2013. It was a cute concept. The title track features a hard rock guitar sound mixed with a European style house beat, end quote. So that's their first year of activity. And as I said, they started as 4K. It consisted of 4 members and it was acoustic pop and it was really good. So the album that we're talking about, as I said, it only has 3 tracks on it. It was released June 12th, and it was also on the CJ label, which, as we get closer to me having the entirety of this research done, being able to really break down how a lot of these groups are on multiple labels, or they might have distribution through another, but the actual development of the project is through their home company. Like, it's a lot of overlap, and this is not unique to South Korea entertainment. This happens a lot across the music board, so this is not something new. But CJ South Korean Entertainment Mass Media Company, is owned by CJ Group in 2011. Is when CJ came about. Wow, abound around. Y'all know my English is just, oh God, it's a wreck. And it's really hard now because yesterday I spent Thanksgiving with my Hispanic and Latin family, and like, they're speaking in Spanish and everything, and my brain is like trying its best to snap out of Korean and jump into Spanish. So CJ or CJ Group or anything with CJ might sound very familiar to some of you who are listening to this. They have cut me checks in the past. Why? Because they own Mnet, and Mnet also owns a portion of KCON, and a lot of us are familiar with KCON. So that's how the name might have come across your trajectory, So the peak chart position for this on the Korean charts was 44, but it's nice. It's only 3 tracks. It's only 3 tracks. You have Rocking Girl, Bye Bye Bye, and then Moonlight Sonata. And it's Bye Bye Bye. I'm gonna just tell you right off rip. That's totally coffee shop music, and the humor in that is the video was filmed at a coffee shop. So it's like they're fully aware of their aesthetic. They're fully aware of what it is that they bring to the table. And it's not long. It doesn't ask a lot of you with it only being 3 tracks. It was just a little bit of a dabble, if you will, into what they're doing. Now, their official debut as 24K was September 6, 2012. So this was just a moment to get people interested in the vocalists of the group. And bar none, on the title track, Rocking Girl, they really show out. You have some depth and diversity to the vocal deliveries, and the arrangement is very complimentary to how these gentlemen sing. It's a really good song. It's actually a personal favorite of mine, but I didn't realize that this group portion, this subunit, came out before 24K, before 24K actually like started being 24K. Again, I didn't get into them until well late into the game because of a video and one of the members, and he looked like a cat boy. And I have a history of being a fan of guys who look like cats, even though I don't like cats. I happen to like vampiric looking undead creature like cat boys, and he looked like one, but we're not on that yet. We'll get to that when we do. One thing that I find interesting about it is it's absolutely true to the way that it was classified when I was reading the historical data from Wikipedia. It is acoustic pop. Now, you might be saying, okay, what makes it acoustic pop? Well, acoustic music, that's things that just use the instruments that produce acoustic sounds. So it wouldn't be an electric guitar, it would be an acoustic guitar. The difference between the two, although there are electric acoustic and acoustic electric guitars, the difference between the two is you usually hear these accompanied with other string instruments such as the piano or electric organ. Not electric organ, I'm sorry, piano or electric organ. Yeah, think about it. But it wouldn't. Let me go ahead and get a little musically nerdy with you. Okay, so yes, you will hear it with a piano or with an electric organ. I'm conflicted because, first and foremost, if you're unaware, piano is a string instrument. You might be thinking, what? But it is. When you open up the lid of it, all those things inside of the lid are strings. It is the biggest that we can just readily get our hands on of the string instruments. And an electric organ or an electric violin, for that matter, you're taking away the acoustic aspect of it. But you can still utilize these instruments in acoustic music. So it's a little, think folk music. Think of the dude on the campus quad sitting under the tree with no shoes on, strumming his life away with a whole bunch of pretty women sitting beside him trying to figure out. Never mind, I was about to say something that ain't podcast appropriate. So yeah, it's unplugged or unwired. It's the rawness of whatever the instrumentation is that gives you the acoustic vibe. Cultural aspects of it, it's ancient. It's been around far longer than electricity ever has been. And the typical star of that is the acoustic guitar. It just is. So you have that aspect of that folks vibe with pop music, things that are going to have aspects of the popular sounds of that day's music. And it works for this album. It's a really nice little mashup. I'm not too thrilled with Bye Bye Bye. And I think it's because it's coffee shop music and it just kind of sits in the background, where if I was not looking at the music video of it the second time around, and the fact that I know what kind of coffee shop it is, because it's one of my favorite. It's a chain, it's in Korea, and it's also here in America, but it's one of my favorites. So being able to see that and be familiar with it, it made for a different vibe. But so K-pop fans on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being consensual listening and 1 not worth mentioning, the A3Day rating on this is a 5 on 4K's Rocking Girl EP. It's a 5, even though I don't really like Bye. But again, when you are critiquing music, you are critiquing it for what it is, not for how it personally impacts you. You can get into the personal, individual, magical nuances of something on your own time. This is worth listening to. It just is. And of course, if I'm going to talk about how it's worth listening to, then I got to tell you, of course, about how it's worth being a supporter of this show, because I support everything that involves getting this music to us and me being able to talk about it with you all in this way. This show is truly supported by the efforts of my McGualas. You all are the most amazing fan base a little music stuttering, don't know which language you want to speak in entertainer could ever have. Special shout out to my Patreon patrons, the student body and the scholars, who keep my vision of becoming your favorite Korean music historian, exploring other industry from A to Z a real thing. If you're interested in supporting the growth of this podcast and supporting content, please visit patreon.com/multifacetedacg. And for as little as $1 a month, you can help me not get frustrated with the disclaimer recording on here and get better recording audio equipment. It's just all a progress. It is just, Lord, just whatever it is that you believe in, if it's the power of yourself, a higher being, a god, a goddess, goddesses, whatever, just put some good juju out there for me that I'll be able to be in a quality recording space so that we can just expound upon this as best as possible. So that concludes this album. We will pick it back up in the next episode. We're going to jump into the first album of 24K, which is Hurry Up. And it was an EP. It's a handful of tracks, but it's fun. We'll talk about that then. Bye, y'all. Want to hear music from the artists reviewed on this podcast? Then you have to check out the hashtag A3Day Highlights playlist on Spotify. You can enjoy songs mentioned from select episodes, as well as experience music from new and favorite artists. Start listening with a free Spotify account today.